It's fair to say that SUVs are all the rage at the moment, and when something is so popular with buyers, manufacturers have to take note. And most have at least one SUV, some have 2, 3, even 4. Mercedes-Benz, however, has really gone to town with the SUV theme, and it has 10. This is the Mercedes GLA, and it's the smallest one, and it's the most affordable way to own a Mercedes-Benz badged SUV. Question is it any good? Well, that's what we're going to be finding out over the course of the next few minutes. But before we get started, why not subscribe to the Car Gurus UK YouTube channel? And while you're at it, you might as well click on the bell icon to turn on notifications. That way you'll always be automatically informed whenever a new Car Gurus UK video goes live. The GLA is based on the A-Class, so it's very similar in size, but to get those all-important SUV messages across, it's got jacked-up suspension, chunkier bumpers, roof rails, and some other off-roader-esque touches. And this one being the AMG line means that you get some sportier touches, such as this privacy glass, 19-inch alloy wheels, and some chrome pins in the front bumper. All versions get this handy powered tailgate. And although it's similar in size to the A-Class, the boot is actually much bigger. There's 485 litres of space in here, which this is the diesel, and then the petrol has a smidge more. It's not quite as big as a BMW X1 or an Audi Q3. However, it is larger than the Range Rover Evoque and Volvo XC40, and should be big enough for most families' needs. The fact that the rear seats fold down in a 40-20-40 configuration adds some extra versatility too, and with the movable boot floor in the right place, you get a flat load area with no steps or slopes. In the back seats, there's plenty of leg room, which is on a par with most of its rivals, but the same cannot be said for headroom. It's fine for me at 5'4.5", but if you're pushing 6 foot, you might find it just a little bit restrictive. Good news, however, is this middle seat is quite wide, so 3 passengers side by side is perfectly acceptable. Bad news, you do have to either straddle the tunnel in the middle, or you can rest your feet quite precariously. The footwells are quite big though, so it's really not too bad. Up front though, space is absolutely fine. And for cold days like today, all versions come with heated seats, which is brilliant. And they're either trimmed in man-made or genuine leather. And if you go for the Premium Plus AMG line that we're driving today, you've got electrically adjustable seats. And other versions get manually adjusting seats, and all versions get manually adjusting reach and rake. So either way, you can definitely get a comfortable driving position, and of course you have the lofty view that an SUV gives you. Anyone who's seen the latest A-Class will instantly recognise the GLA's twin-screen dashboard layout. The one on the right delivers all the same information that traditional dials would, but in a much cooler, more configurable way, while the one on the left is a touchscreen system that controls the car's numerous functions. These screens measure 7 inches in entry-level GLAs, but in high-spec cars like this one, they grow to 10.25 inches each. It all looks great, and although it takes a bit of getting used to, like all touchscreens do, once you're familiar with it, it's actually pretty intuitive. And if touchscreens are not your thing, you've got this mousepad controller down here. It's also got DAB radio, sat-nav on all but the entry-level models, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's also got a couple of tricks up its sleeve, but we'll come back to those later. Quality-wise, it feels as plush and as expensive as you would expect a Mercedes to be. There's lots of lovely materials and textures on show. You could argue that a BMW X1 and Audi Q3 are posher still, thanks to a more consistent fit and finish. However, Mercedes buyers will certainly not feel like they're slumming it in a GLA. Question is, does the GLA feel as polished as its rivals on the road? Let's find out. There's a wide range of petrol and diesel engines to choose from, and there's even a plug-in hybrid on offer. The one we've got today is the most powerful diesel, and it's called a 220D. It has a 2-litre diesel engine, which has 187 brake horsepower, and all of that power is going to all 4 wheels through an 8-speed automatic gearbox. There are more humble versions with front-wheel drive only and a 7-speed twin-clutch automatic gearbox, and there are some positives and negatives with this drivetrain. On the one hand, the engine is really perky and muscular, so it's really good at exploiting gaps in traffic when you're driving in the city, and is always ready, willing and able to pick up the pace on faster roads. Not so positively, the gearbox holds onto the gears for longer than you would expect, so it works the engine quite hard a lot of the time, which results in more noise and more vibration, so your progress is not as relaxing and civilised as you'd like to hope. You might also be surprised that the ride doesn't feel a bit more civilised. Now, it should be noted that AMG line cars like the one we have here come with a lowered suspension setup that's bound to feel firmer than the standard setup you get on entry-level cars. We haven't tried one of those though, so we can't tell you what it's like. What we can tell you though is that AMG line cars feel decidedly fidgety and unsettled over craggy surfaces. Not to the point of being uncomfortable, but rivals are more smooth. It seems though that suspension can cope with big bumps better than small ones, so it actually feels quite comfortable at motorway speeds. And that sporty suspension means you do get some pretty tidy handling. Body roll is well contained when you're changing direction, and with lots of grip and traction, thanks in no small part to that four-wheel drive system, you can fling the car about with plenty of confidence that it'll stick. The steering doesn't offer much in the way of feedback, but it's pretty responsive and is well weighted. And remember that useful party trick we alluded to earlier? Well, the sat-nav on this high-spec model has something called augmented reality, and what it basically does is takes a video image of the road in front of you, overlays some animated graphics, pointing out exactly where you need to go. It looks really cool, and it's a genuinely useful feature. So if you want your small prestige SUV to have a sporty flavour and you're less fussed about ride comfort than you are agile handling and clever infotainment tech, the GLA makes a very good choice. Be warned though, it is quite an expensive choice, even when compared to its rivals the BMW X1 and Audi Q3. So if this Mercedes-specific mix of talents is appealing to you, just be prepared to pay the extra it costs. We'd love to know what you think of the GLA, and if you agree with our verdict, please do tell us in the comments below. Please feel free to like and subscribe as well, and remember you can browse our channel for lots more new and used car reviews, and to find a great deal from a top-rated dealer on your next car, head over to cargurus.co.uk.